USSR versus Czechoslovakia, Winter Olympics, hockey, 1984.
Remember, if this game winds up in a tie, the Soviets win the goal because of goal differential. So in essence, the Czechs need 3 right now. Shumanov has a break, broken up at center ice. Here comes Chernikin, skating in with Lala, trying to get it back to Lala, and it's cleared out by Stelnov. Now Quijos has his pass intercepted, and Homanov couldn't get his stick on it off the pass from Grozdiecki. And we'll have a face-off coming up now in the neutral zone. There is Nikolai Grozdiecki, the Czech coach, Ludek Bukac, speaks fluent English. Brought his team into the Olympics in optimum shape. Most of the crowd rooting for Czechoslovakia. Talked to a couple of locals today. They said all the folks in Sarajevo would be rooting for the Czechs as well. In addition to the people who have come down from the country itself. Icing the call here with 12 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the second period.
As you might imagine, the Soviets and the Czechs are bitter rivals, a little bit less bitter than they were perhaps a decade ago. But I was a member of a Canadian team in the World Championships in 1969, just after the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. And the 2 games that the Czechs and the Soviets played there were among the best I've ever seen. The Czechs won both games and ended up losing the World Championships because they lost to Sweden twice. But this is a different generation of player. That player had experienced that feeling firsthand. This is the second generation of player. That's a fairly distant and second-hand memory to them.
Still, a Czechoslovakian victory today, if they can pull it off, would obviously mean just about as much to that country as the 1980 win meant to the people of the United States after what took place at Lake Placid. In a different sense, but emotionally, it will be just as intense. Liba can't handle it. And offside are the Czechs with 11 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second period.
Marshall.
Igor Liba has scored 4 goals thus far in the tournament. The Czechs come in unbeaten 6-0 and have played just scintillating defense throughout. 3 shutouts coming into this game, but down 2-0. Erdina. Flat shot is blocked. Ariana comes up with a puck for the Soviets. Shoots it in the length of the ice. And Kotlets is back to make the touch and create a face-off. You can see the Soviet Union has won a medal in all of the Olympics they've been in since 1956. 5 gold, 1 silver. That was in 1980, and then 1 bronze. The bronze came in 1960 when the Americans won at Squaw Valley, and the Canadians took the silver that year. Approaching the halfway mark of the second period and the halfway mark of the hockey game. 2-0, the Soviets on top. Tisov up ahead to Kasakanov. He's written out of the play, and Richter wrapping forward in the corner. Pavel Richter starts back the other way and finally has it taken away at the center line by Makarov, number 24. Now Krutov, who has scored one of the 2 Soviet goals. It was 1-0 after the first period, 2-0 right now. With a little bit more than 10 minutes remaining in the second period.
The game seems to be in a bit of a drift at the moment, and the Czechs have to snap it out. What's very...
So then the Soviets dominated 2/3 of the first period, from maybe the 6-minute mark on. And the Czechs have really had only one significant shot on goal here in the second period. Tied up along the boards, and we have 10 minutes. Ludak Bukac, the Czech coach. We're at the Zetra Arena. Al Michaels with Ken Dryden and Mike Eruzione. The Soviets and Czechoslovakia meeting for the gold medal in the final game of the Olympic hockey tournament. Earlier, Sweden clinched the bronze by shutting out Canada 2-0. Centering pass was deflected off the side of the cage, and back come the Soviets now. Skating in is Humanov, written off the play. Back it comes, and the Pervukin can't keep it in at the point. Now Bilya Letonov shooting it all the way in, and this will create an icing call and a face-off in front of Tretiak.
The Soviets have not been forcing the play very much lately. It's meant that the Czechs, when they attempt to counterattack, are finding 3 or 4 Soviet players back, and the build-up becomes very slow. And when it's that slow, it all seems to fizzle out.
Alexander Kozhevnikov, number 29. He scored a goal in the first period at the 6:38 mark. The other goal coming early here in the second period at the 1:12 mark by Vladimir Krutov. 2-0, the Soviets on top. This is Gerasimov over to Fetisov. His pass up ahead for Shepelev. Winds up on the stick of Schindel, who had to make the easy save. He leaves it now for Ferdinand and Uvirov. Over to Svoboda. Up ahead to Ruzicka. Slap shot is deflected off Fetisov's stick. He lost his stick and then pins it against the back of the cage, along with Tretiak.
It's going to be up to players like Ruzicka, players also like Liba and Lala, the better scorers for the Czechs, to really do something. The Czech team has an awful lot of players who are just hard workers, who are effective in a game when the team is ahead. But when they're behind, you have to look to the scorers. The scorers thus far really haven't threatened.
Less than 5 minutes remaining in the second period. Both men are waved off the face-off, and so it'll be Erding on the face-off against Homakov. Kasatanov for the Soviets, moving into the neutral zone and taken there by Svoboda, who loses the puck. Shepelev's shot goes wide. A weak shot, partially deflected by Erding's stick. And Kasatanov takes over again with Gerasimov coming back in over the blue line. Poke check back toward the blue line and cleared by the Czechoslovaks. Ruzicka's pass taken now by Richter. Uvira leaving it for Svoboda. Korbalov just came off the bench but can't control that pass as Fetisov leaves it for Larionov, and back come the Soviets. As they normally do, very quickly. Larionov's shot is wide. Krutov tries to sweep it around the boards. And they scrap forward in the corner, and a face-off will occur here with 3 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the second period.
A good example on that last play of how the Europeans effectively run interference for the player for the puck carrier. Larionov came down the ice and was facing 2 Czech defensemen, but because of Krutov shadowing, setting almost a skating pick for him, he got an open chance.
Slap shot from the point was wide, and slapped in again by Stelmach. Makarov checked by Belak, comes out to the point again. That's deflected in front, but Stelmach keeps it in. Krutov going after the puck for the Soviets. That's Korbalov. And a penalty coming up here for holding on Milan Halupa. So the Czechs will be shy a man as Halupa goes off at the 16:27 mark of the second period.
Krutov makes a wise play here. He is being held. The referee doesn't doesn't really see it very well until finally, all of a sudden, he just sort of throws himself down. Then the play becomes dramatic enough that it comes to the referee's attention and the penalty goes to Halupa.
So Halupa gone for the next 2 minutes. Soviet power play as the second period concludes. 3.5 minutes to go in the period. It's 2-0. This is Konstantinov. Larionov in the corner. Krutov, who has already scored once today. Krutov skates out in front of the net. Fetisov fakes that slap shot. Konstantinov slaps it in. It's wide. This is Makarov with Larionov buzzing in front of Schindel in the slot. Larionov setting up right in front of the goalie. Slapped in by Fetisov and deflected well back into the crowd.
Well, it's interesting to note right now, from what I remember when the Czechoslovakia team was playing the United States, they were a lot more aggressive when they were killing penalties. For some reason here, they seem to be just staying in that basic box and letting the Soviet players move it around.
I think perhaps part of that is that the Soviet team passes the puck so much better than the U.S. team does, that if they create that open man in close, they're going to score a goal. Whereas the U.S. team was really as successful at that.
1 minute and 22 seconds remaining in the penalty, and 2:55 remaining in the period. Konstantinov skates all the way in, tries to jam it in and can't. It's loose in front. Makarov had his shot deflected, and the pressure taken off, cleared to center ice. Penalty just about half over to Milan Halupa. 2.5 to go in the period. 2-0 the Soviet Union. Konstantinov with a slap shot that's blocked very nicely by Igor Liba. Picked up by Larionov. Again, Konstantinov. Soviets so adept at that touch pass. There's Krutov. Sought Makarov on the other end of the pass. He went down, but they were able to keep it in back of the net. Krutov now skates in, and Schindel got his stick on it to clear it to the side. 0.5 minute now remaining in the penalty to Halupa. Larionov out in front. Liba got his stick on it. And the shot comes in and is finally cleared out. And Schindel goes down with Makarov. And a penalty will come up here on the Soviets with 21 seconds left in the penalty to Halupa of the Czechs. Swedish referee, Dag Olsen, indicating a tripping call on Larionov, who goes to the box for the second time in this period.
Fetisov had a good chance there. You can see the penalty. Uvira blocked the shot, and as he had it all cut up in his chest, Larionov went by and just upended him.
Acting jobs are not indigenous to the West, we have discovered today.
They're not.
For the next 21 seconds, each team is a man shy. And then the Czechs will have a power play for 1:39. In fact, if they don't score, the penalty will carry over into the first few seconds of the second period as Grozdiecki comes up with the puck. Halupa getting ready to come out of the penalty box. Grozdiecki skates in. Down he goes. That penalty to Halupa is over, so the Czechs have a man advantage now for the balance of the period. Down 2-0. 1 minute and 22 seconds left in the second period as the Czechs start back the other way. Down goes Richter. Good acting job there, but it didn't fool Olsen. No penalty is called.
The Czechs are known for that and are very good at it, but at times it can be a little bit too dramatic.
Now this is Lukács with a minute to go. And the Czechs for the power play. This is Lukács skating in. Drop pass for Liba. Liba trying to get it back to Lukács, and he couldn't set it up for a shot. And Yelevdinov tries to clear it away. The Czechs are able to keep it in, and it's pinned against the boards for a face-off with 43 seconds remaining in the period and 49 seconds left in the penalty.
We said it before when the Czechs have had the power play that this really gives them a chance that they're otherwise not earning at even strength situations. Now they have just 43 seconds in the period. They've got to get some sort of offensive feeling and generate that into this game. They've really had nothing up until now. And at this moment, they really, going into that third period, they can't even point to certain moments in the game to copy as the model that they want for that third period. They've got to start to generate something.
Bennock starting back now. Half a minute to go. Wilcox, a weak shot. Easy save by Tretiak. And Fetisov bears it back to center zone. Bennock with it. Stolen by Vasiliev and covered up by Schindel. Vasiliev nearly had a breakaway with 15 seconds now to play in the period.
Well, careless pass by number 9, Bennock. But fortunately for the Czechs, the puck rolls close enough to Schindel that he can come out and get it.
15 seconds remaining in the period. Czechoslovakia with a man advantage. Soviets on top, 2-0. Gold medal at stake here at the Zetra. The final game of the tournament. Each team undefeated. Referee stepping in to redefine the positioning now on the faceoff. Comes out to Sarikov. Over to Fetisov. That's deflected off the stick of Kotlitz. 5 seconds to play now in the second period. And the third period will begin with a 6-second power play. Third and final period now. Soviet Union not only leading 2-0, but if this game winds up as a tie, the Soviets will clinch the gold medal. So in effect, the Czechoslovaks need 3 goals. And that's going to be extremely tough. Vladislav Tretiak, his goals against average right there. In fact, he has now gone 109 minutes and 56 seconds, almost 2 full games, without allowing a goal. Jaromir Schindel had a streak of 163 minutes, broken in the first period. He had come off 2 consecutive shutouts. There he is, and he's played respectably today, but he trails by a score of 2-0.
Schindel has played well after the unfortunate goal in the first period. But at this moment, the game is going into the hands of the forwards for Czechoslovakia, particularly players like Ruzicka and Rusnak and Liba and Lala. They're going to have to go out and score some goals. They have done very little up until now, even to the extent of getting good scoring chances. The Czechs are going to have to go out and start forcing the game, a style that they don't like to play, but they've played pretty well, and they're going to have to do it now.
Third period starts with Larionov in the penalty box, but he will be out momentarily, just a 6-second advantage, and now the teams are at full strength. Czechoslovakia in white, and the Soviets in red. Jaroslav Bennock with the puck, number 9. Up ahead to center ice, taken there by Krutov to Larionov. He skates in, has it taken away, and back come the Czechs, but Solder is tied up by Fetisov. Fetisov tries to kick it loose, and now the Czechs come in on a long slap shot saved by Tretiak off the stick of Bennock. Pashak goes down, and here comes Larionov back the other way. Krutov on the left wing. Kasatonov now. The defenseman shoots it in, and nice save by Schindel as he was partially screened. 2 men skating in front of him as the shot came in. Makarov now up along the boards, taken away at center ice. Brought back in by Kihos for the Czechs, number 16. In the second minute of the third period, Soviets on top 2-0, and offside is the call here as the puck just did come back over the blue line. As you can see, the Soviets returning half of their silver medal Olympic team in 1980. 4 Czechoslovaks are back from 80.
The 10 players that returned for the Soviet team are in different roles now. That in 1980 they were the young players on the team, the rookies or players that had been on the team only 1 or 2 years. Now they're the core of the team. The Fetisovs and Krutovs, players like that. It is really only Tretiak that remains in that leadership role as he had in 1980.
Quijos to Lala. Now Conlitz with a puck. But the Soviets take it away at center ice. Vasiliev leaving it for Kovin. Single pushes it into the corner where Conlitz comes up with the puck. 18 minutes to play. Soviet Union with a goal in each of the first 2 periods on top by a score of 2-0. Cherny, the scrappy captain, has it taken away at the blue line, but now Quijos follows it. Circles, is written off the play very nicely, and back it comes to center ice. This is Kortsov, and he centered it, but Vasiliev couldn't backhand it in from in front. Now, Lukács to Leva in the corner. Out in front, he centers it for Uviron. As he spun around, the shot was deflected wide. And the Soviets quickly come back the other way. A slap shot by Grozieski goes into the corner. Humanov centers it, nobody is there. Lukács now. Pass for Leva was behind him. And it's Grozieski swinging it in on Schindel. Right in on him, and he makes the save and covers up for a face-off with 16:57 to go in the game.
Now, all along we've been talking about
A little bit more than 15 minutes remaining. Bouncing puck. Saved by Tretiak. There'll be no icing call here. Svoboda with it for the Czechoslovaks. Being hounded by Skvortsov. Shoots it in on Tretiak. And he forces a face-off in the Soviet end with 14 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the game.
The Soviets have put a mood on the game just the way they want at this moment. That there's not really much of a sense of the Czechs coming on. The Soviets are still in very good control.
Face off in the Soviet end. Darius Krusnak on the face-off. But it's controlled by Chumanov of the Soviets. And this is Fetisov now with the puck. Shoots it up ahead, deflected into the Czech end. The icing is waved off as Lala quickly gets it up ahead. But Lukács can't clear the zone. Kept in by Kasakanov. He's taken out of the play. Leva now passing it up along the boards to Benak. Now to Lukács. Lukács with a slap shot and a save by Tretiak.
Now he has broadened his game, and he's almost as good an offensive player as his partner Fetisov.
Orzheva tried to keep it in, but couldn't as the puck came out just over the blue line, and thus a face-off in the neutral zone with 14:05 remaining in the game. From the face-off, Gerasimov and Shepelev are able to get it into the Czech zone, but now taken at center ice by Ruznicka. And a face-off here. So 13:52 remains in the game. It's 2-0 Soviets. Well, the Czech fans still in lively spirits. Their team, though, is beginning to run out of time with the Soviets on top 2-0, and the Soviets dominating the pace and tempo of the game. So the Czechs have had a couple of decent shots on Tretiak here in the third period. Rivera over to Salder. Salder shoots it in on Tretiak, and he makes an easy save. And effectively kills off a few more seconds, and 13:33 left now.
But as you've said before, Al, the Czechoslovak team must win. A tie is not good enough. And now with less than 14 minutes to go in the game, they have to score 3 goals. And with that man in goal, that is a daunting prospect.
Tretiak in his 4th Olympics. He already has 2 golds and 1 silver. This is Pashek. Has the puck taken away by Ilya Letinov. He scoops it up ahead and it's cleared out to center ice. Now Svoboda can't handle it in the neutral zone, and it's Makarov, number 24, skating with it. That's poked away by Korvela, but to the stick of Ilya Letinov, and he feeds it up ahead to Larionov. Shoots it in behind the net. Czechs trying to work it out, and they do as Chernik comes skating in on the left wing, and Chernik goes down as he made contact with Pervukin, but all legal, no penalty. And back come the Soviets, and it's shot in by Krukov and saved by Schindel. As the pace of the play now really picks up. 7.5 minutes into the 3rd period. Back come the Czechs. Kihos for Chernik, skating in over the right wing. Chernik looking to center it, broken up, and cleared back to the neutral zone.
Now this is the kind of pace the Czechs need. Now they've got to do something with it.
Benok over to Lara, and it was off the glove of Tretiak. Just got a piece of it and then cleared back the other way. "12 minutes now remaining in the game. Long pass up ahead, too long though. However, back to get it is Rusnak. And we have a whistle.
Here's František Chernik, probably playing in his offensive players. But the Czech team is not a smooth team. It's not a spectacular team. It is a hard-working and effective team. And it comes from the players like Chernik and Richter.
This is Chumanov skating in after the puck for the Soviets. Since he gets there first, there is no icing. So Zietzky trying to stuff it in as he came around from behind the net. And it's tied up, and they begin to mix it. At the side of the net as Drozdetsky goes down and loses his helmet in the process. He's had quite a tournament. 10 goals and 2 assists coming into the game today.
Here's Drozdetsky again, trying to stuff it in the corner. Not quite managing, but he's been, as Al said, a very effective player in the Olympics. He is not the prototype Soviet forward. He is much taller. He is not as quick. He was on the verge of being replaced this year. But he has picked up his pace, had a good season, and an even better Olympics.
Face off now in the Czech end. And it's cleared out to center ice. Gasatanov leaves it for Chumanev. Into the corner he goes, and then it's tied up. And Drozdetsky getting into it momentarily, along with number 12, Pavel Richter.
You sense a little bit of frustration building now among the Czechs. The action behind the net, a little bit of extra shoving. But after the pace picked up there momentarily, it seems to have quietened down again, just as the Soviets would want, just as the Czechs would not.
Two nothing is the score. 11:24 remaining in the game. Shot in. Comes out to the point now where Kuznetsov. He cuts control of the puck, and back comes Richter. Richter for the Czechoslovakia shoots it into the corner. Now Svoboda tries to center it. Comes back into the corner on the near side. Rivera scrapping for it. Erdina trying to get it onto the stick of number 17, Ruzicka, but he couldn't get the shot away. And finally taken by Chumanev. As he skates it over the blue line, he's met by Svoboda, and we're going to have a penalty coming up. So exactly what the Czechs did not need at this point as we approach the halfway mark of the third period. With just 10:41 remaining in the game, they've got to kill a penalty.
See the penalty developing here. The Soviet player coming down and being tripped, knocked down by Erdina.
So the score remains Soviet Union 2, Czechoslovakia nothing. Soviets with a man advantage. They have scored in each of the first two periods, leading here in the battle for the gold medal 2-0. The shot by Billy Letinov is saved and deflected back over the glass.
Now it's interesting now with 9:29 already being played in the hockey game, a little over 10 minutes left to play, that it's not so important now that the Soviet Union score a goal. It's just more so important that for 2 minutes the Czechoslovakia team is not going to have a real good opportunity offensively to do anything. So from the Soviet Union's point of view is you're just killing 2 more minutes off the clock and just making it that much more difficult for them to score that 3 goals that they need.
Mike mentioning 3 goals, that's the case again. You joined us late, the game winds up as a tie because of goal differential. The Soviets would win the gold medal. But Tisov getting it over to Butov, who shot in, goes around the boards. The Tisov now to Kasapanov, and it's finally cleared out by Milan Halupa through the length of the ice, and Larionov goes back to get it. Igor Larionov with 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining now in the penalty to Yuri Erdina. Kasapanov circling. Tisov, number 2, is the Soviets uncharacteristically having a little trouble getting it out of their own end here.
Well, as Mike said, though, they're content to do it this way, that while the Czechs are killing the penalty, they're killing the clock.
Kasatanov loses the puck to Lala. Lala now back to Orzheva. And the Czechs try to eat up as much time as they can to kill off this penalty. And it's shot back into the Soviet end with 40 seconds remaining in the penalty to Erdina. Fetisov to Makarov. Under a half minute now left in the penalty to Erdina. It's Billy Letinov, and that's a save by Schindel. The upper half of his stick on it. Makarov now can't center it, and it's picked up by Liba, but he loses it to Makarov. 8 seconds left of the penalty. Shot off the leg of Liba. Liba tries to get it out and does, and the penalty is now over, so the teams are back at full strength.
I don't think Makarov there realized what a good chance he had. Then he circled back, took the shot, and it was blocked away.
Here is Erdina, the man who just vacated the penalty box. We have 8:30 remaining in the game. 2-0 the Soviets on top. There has been a shutout thus far in each game in the medal round. On Friday, the Soviets shut Canada out. The Czechs shut Sweden out. And earlier today, Sweden wrecked the bronze with a 2-0 shutout over Canada. There it's 2-0 Soviets. 8 minutes to go in the game. Teams at full strength. Richter trying to free the puck. Knocked down by Fetisov and cleared back the other way. Vidot is ridden out of the play. The puck is taken away by Homatov. Starikov tried to shoot it in. It was deflected in front, now brought back out to center ice. Sergei Starikov with Terbukin. Long shot, saved by Schindel, and a face-off.
It's a curious thing that, as you mentioned, in the medal round, these games would be decided by shutout. Now, certainly in order to get to the medal round, you do need that strong defensive base and strong goaltending. But we're also seeing the best offensive teams in the Olympics. I think in many ways it is what we said before about when you get at this topmost level and on this larger rink, you don't get so many of the chance goals. The goals that bounce in off legs and so on. There is more open space, and you need the top skill plays in order to beat the goalies, in order to beat the defense to beat the goalies.
Here is Korvela now skating in for the Czechs, but has it broken up. Soviets doing a great job picking it up with the blue line as Korvela comes in. Now into the corner, Pashek. But Pervukin is able to clear it, but it's kept in from the point. And a penalty is coming up here on Czechoslovakia as Dusan Pashek got his stick entangled with the Soviet skater. And he'll be removed for 2 minutes.
Well, I think Pashek not only got his stick entangled, but I think that he probably used his skate and leg pretty well. There's Starikov with the puck. Watch from behind, just kicking the leg out from underneath. Starikov, and Pashek gets the penalty.
We have 6:56 left in the game. Slovakia, and again they are faced with a situation now where they need 3 goals to win the gold medal. Time is running out. They have a man in the penalty box, and the Soviets are on the verge of recapturing the gold medal they last won in 1976.
I think the game's more or less history right now, Al. Even though there's still some time left, I don't see the Czechoslovakian team putting any type of consistent pressure on Tretiak. And if they have to keep throwing penalties off, obviously they're not going to have any opportunities. And I just don't think they can score 3 goals.
This is Leva. Leva skating in. Leva goes down. And back come the Soviets with Chumanov. Leaving a drop pass. So it throws Vieski, and back it comes the other way. A minute and 15 seconds remaining in the Czechoslovakian penalty. Kasasanov waiting at the point, looking for a centering pass, gets it back off the deflection. Goes Vieski with it. Has it taken away and cleared the length of the ice. But the Czechs have to do more than just kill a penalty here. With under 6 minutes to play in the game. You've got 50 seconds now remaining in the penalty. Fetisov to Larionov. Makarov now. Comes out to the point where Fetisov can't handle it. And the Czechs clear the zone. Arnold Kodlets chases it down in the corner and clears it down the ice. So they're doing a very effective job killing the penalty. Soviets 0 for 4, but that's hardly relevant right now because the Soviets are, with each succeeding tick of the clock, getting that much closer to the gold medal.
I think this is the time for us now just to watch the Soviet team. And they are an outstanding hockey team. They can play many different levels, many different styles of play. We can see them being explosive. Now we can see them go into a puck control game. And if they've got the puck, the Czechs sure don't. And they can't threaten at all. The Soviets are just moving it around. If they get a great chance, that's fine. If not,
this is Khrushchev flipping it through the crease as the teams are at equal strength. Khrushchev from his knees to Larionov and a save by Schindel. And then Makarov can't get his stick on the puck, and back come the Czechs quickly. But Solder has it broken up by Starikov.
There was 1 Czech on the attack. Solder, there were 4 Soviets back.
Icing call here. 4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the game. Remaining in Olympic competition, in fact, as this event closes out the competition in the Olympics. Another look now at the last save.
The Soviets must have controlled the puck for about 30 seconds or so in the Czechoslovakian zone. And in hockey, that is something that is very hard to do. It's not like playing ball control in basketball. In hockey, it is very hard to keep possession of the puck for any length of time. The Soviets did it there for about half a minute.
That's a point eloquently made by Ken Dryden in his best-selling book, The Game. Out to center ice. Wolvera. Can't control it. Now for Yeltsinov. Moving it up ahead. 3:45 remaining in the game. Soviets on top, 2-0. No penalty call here.
I think there was another situational non-call that was clearly a penalty for interference. The Soviet player didn't have the puck at all, but I think because of the score, the referee decided not to call the penalty.
This is Skvortsov. Pennock takes the puck away, but Kovac skates in after it. Soviet fans chanting. They can smell it now. Their team on the verge of winning the gold medal as Kovac's shot is blocked by Pennock. Shingle comes out to sweep it out past the blue line, and Chernik starts the rush the other way. To Lukács, but it's broken up by Kasatonov. Strapped for in the corner. Kovac lost his helmet, also took a blow to the side of the head, and a penalty is coming up as Tretiak vacates the net. So they have an extra skater on the ice for the Soviets. And Czechs gain possession here. A whistle will stop play, and what stops play is an offside instead. And a penalty coming up now to Czechoslovakia. So it's academic at this point. 2.5 minutes to go in the game. A 2-0 lead. And a man going into the penalty box for the Czechs. It will be number 29, Lukács. 2:30 to go. Soviet Union 2 and Czechoslovakia nothing. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Soviets on top, 2-0. And a tie for them is as good as a win when it comes to winning the gold. The Czechs with an almost impossible task, down a man, and in effect down 3 goals in their bid for the gold medal. 2 minutes to go in the game. Kasatonov up ahead. Soviets not really looking to mount anything at this point. Just to utilize the rest of the clock. Grozdievsky skating in. And we'll have a face-off. So what it amounts to is that the Soviet Union, which entered Olympic hockey competition in 1956 and won the gold that year, they took the bronze medal in 60, won the gold in 64, 68, 72, 76, the silver in 80, and the gold again here.
You can see the anticipation on Coach Viktor Tikhonov's face. He was very heavily criticized. Look, he's still working his stopwatch now, checking how long the lines are on, even though there's only a minute and a half to go. But he was heavily criticized after Lake Placid, and there was some doubt whether he would remain as coach. But he is very much in control. And this is Viktor Tikhonov's team. This is a team that is made in his image as no veteran team can be. The 1980 team was the remnants of a past time. That it was a team that was a veteran team. Tikhonov took over that veteran team and couldn't really put his stamp on it. This team plays very much the way he wants them to play. They are playing at a faster pace all the time, and with that faster pace, there is more body contact. And in a way, they're starting to put together the possession game and the pressure game, and you can see the results.
In this tournament now, the Soviet Union has outscored the opposition 48-5. They lead here 2-0 with a minute and 10 seconds remaining in the game. Still 38 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ferdinand Czechoslovakia. One of those things, an aberration, and that may be so. It's something, of course, that the people who witnessed it in the United States will never forget. But here are the Soviets on the verge of recapturing the gold medal and doing it in very impressive fashion.
Although there are 10 players on this team that were on the team in 1980, the only player that remains from 1976, the only player who has a gold medal in his possession is the goaltender Tretiak. And now he will have 3.